Ladies and gentlemen, Their Excellencies, the Right Honourable Dame Patsy Reddy, Governor-General of New Zealand, and Sir David Gascoigne.
I ngā mana, i ngā reo, i ngā iwi o ngā hoe whā. Tēnei aku mihi mahana ki a koutou. Nau mai haere mai rā ki te whare kawana. Kia ora tātou katoa. I specifically acknowledge the Honourable Jenny Salesa, Minister of the Crown, Rhys Jones, Chief Executive of Fire and Emergency, our kuia, Mrs Taripawai Higgins, our kaumātua, Mr Joe Harawera, tēnā koutou. And I offer a special welcome to today's honour recipients. It's a pleasure to host this ceremony and bring together 9 honour recipients along with their family and friends to recognise the contributions they've made to our country. As Governor-General, I have the authority and the privilege on behalf of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, the Queen of New Zealand, to hold an investiture for her and to confer the honours to which each recipient is entitled. An investiture ceremony is one of the most important duties I perform as Governor-General, and so it's a very real pleasure to resume these ceremonies after the disruptions that we've all experienced over the past few months. On these occasions, it's my privilege to bring together individuals who've made an exceptional contribution in their respective fields of endeavour. Some of you will have national public profiles. Others will be well known in your own communities. But what you all have in common is the positive impact that you've had on the economic, environmental, social or cultural well-being of this nation. This will be a memorable day for you and for your family and friends who've come to witness your investiture and celebrate with you. Ladies and gentlemen, as each recipient comes forward, I invite you all to join me in thanking and congratulating them for their service to our country. Catriona McLeod will now read the citations for each recipient and then invite them to come forward to receive their insignia. Thank you.
Your Excellency, To receive the insignia of a Companion of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Professor Jenny Carrier of Palmerston North, for services to health, particularly nursing. Professor Jenny Carrier is Professor of Nursing at Massey University's School of Nursing and Executive Director of the College of Nurses Aotearoa. She is Chair of the National Nursing Organisation's Leadership Group and former Chair of the Health Workforce New Zealand's Nursing Workforce Advisory Group. She has been a member of the Primary Health Advisory Council to the Ministry of Health, the Expert Nursing Advisory Group on Primary Healthcare Development, and the Primary Health Organisation Development Task Force. She has been a visiting professor and honorary faculty member of Yale University and has held adjunct positions, research positions, visiting scholar positions, and consortium membership with several other universities. Professor Carrier has authored more than 100 publications on chronic illness and the nurse practitioner role in New Zealand. Professor Jenny Carrier, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a Companion of the Queen's Service Order, Dr. Morgan Williams of Richmond, for services to the state and the environment. Dr. Morgan Williams earned his PhD in population ecology and worked in Antarctica and Fiji before dedicating his work towards the public sector. He worked for the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, leading major research on pests, before serving as Parliamentary Commissioner for the Environment. In that role, he advanced understanding of environmental and sustainability issues. He chaired the Worldwide Fund for Nature, WWF, in New Zealand and was a member of the WWF International Council. He now chairs the Cawthron Foundation, which raises funds, provides scholarships, and runs science fairs and the New Zealand River Awards. Dr. Williams is a trustee of the National Energy Research Institute and the New Zealand Centre for Environmental Law, as well as chair of a Water Futures group. Dr. Morgan Williams, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of an officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Ms. Rona Neera Mu of Christchurch for services to Māori art and culture, particularly weaving. Rona Neera Mu is a past chairperson of Te Ropu Rarangi Whatu o Aotearoa, Māori Weavers New Zealand. She's a member of the New Zealand Olympic Committee's Māori Advisory Committee and is the designer and one of the weavers of mahutonga, the kākahu worn by the New Zealand flag bearer at the Olympic Games. She played a key role in Toi Māori, the Eternal Thread weaving exhibition, which toured New Zealand and the United States. She co-authored The Eternal Thread, Te Aho Mutanga Kore, The Art of Māori Weaving. She was senior advisor to Sir Mark Solomon when he was chair of Te Runanga o Ngaitahu. Ms. Neera Mu is chair of the Waitaha Cultural Council and was formerly the vice president of the Arthur's Pass Search and Rescue Society. Ms. Rona Neera Mu, please come forward.
I just want to let everybody know that when we're in the South Island, Ranui is kuia to the Governor General as well.
Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Reverend Dr. Helen Jacobi of Auckland, for services to the Anglican Church and the community. The Reverend Dr. Helen Jacobi is the first female vicar of Auckland's St. Matthew in the City. She works with many marginalised and vulnerable communities, gaining attention for her church's inclusivity of the LGBTQI+ community. She was the first female dean of Waiapu Cathedral in Napier. She was chair of the Touch Compass Dance Trust Board, an inclusive arts organisation for performers with and without disabilities, and a trustee of Woodford School for Girls. While vicar of St Luke's Wadestown, she grew the parish significantly and established community outreach and youth programmes. Reverend Jacobi directed the Women in Crisis Project shelters for the homeless with the Diocese of Ottawa, Canada. Reverend Dr. Helen Jacobi, please come forward. Mr. Grant Sidaway of Wellington for services to seniors and ICT education. Grant Sidaway instigated and has been a driving force for SeniorNet, a community training network that supports and motivates people aged 50+ to enjoy and use technology in their daily lives. He set up and was CEO of the National SeniorNet Federation, which obtains national grants and government funding to keep SeniorNet's training centres running and for the training of tutors. He is a technology columnist and writes about issues that are of particular interest to older people, such as avoiding scams and being connected online. Mr. Sidaway is a business mentor for business in the community and is a Big Buddy mentor for fatherless boys. Mr. Grant Sidaway, please come forward. Mr. David Wright of Wellington for services to biodynamic agriculture. David Wright was Secretary of the Biodynamic Farming and Gardening Association charity Biodynamics NZ and served on the board of BioGrow New Zealand. He was a member of the board of Organics Aotearoa New Zealand. He was a founding trustee and treasurer of the Kete Ora Charitable Trust, which enables education and research into biodynamic and organic agricultural practices. He's been secretary and continues as inspector for Demeter New Zealand. He's been instrumental in the development of New Zealand's Demeter Biodynamic Certification Standards to an equivalent of Demeter International Standards. Mr. Wright helped develop the NZS 8410 Organic Production Minimum Standard in 2003 for defining the term organic. Mr. David Wright, please come forward. Mr. Paul Wright of Rotorua for services to Fire and Emergency New Zealand and the forestry industry. Paul Wright was principal of the Fiji Forestry Training Centre, providing vital support to Fiji's growing forestry industry. Since 1991, he's held senior operation and management positions in the Central North Island. He was Principal Rural Fire Officer and Chief Executive of Pumisland's Rural Fire District. He has overseen the amalgamation and continued management of several fire authorities. He is Principal Rural Fire Officer for Fire and Emergency New Zealand. His efforts have led to changes and improvements in fire management. Mr. Wright is actively involved in Rotary and is a past district governor. For more than 40 years, he's been involved with organisations supporting disabled persons. Mr. Paul Wright, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the Queen's Service Medal, Dr. Alison Gaston of Dunedin for services to health and health education. Dr. Alison Gaston began working in general practice in the 1980s, specifically caring for the high-need, low-income community in Dunedin. She was a key instigator behind the opening of a community health centre in Brockville. She has worked as an educator for the University of Otago and the Royal New Zealand College of General Practitioners for more than 30 years. She was at the forefront of promoting physical activity as part of improving health outcomes, particularly for women. Dr. Gaston was a founding director of the Dunedin After Hours GP service and piloted maternity leave when working at Dunedin Hospital. Dr. Alison Gaston, please come forward. Ms. Sue Horrid Tippa of Levin for services to the Pacific community and youth. Sue Horrid Tippa is the governance and executive support team leader at the Horowhenua District Council. She's an executive member of the volunteer group Fale Pacifica Horowhenua, which aims to support, drive and promote initiatives for the Pacific community. She plays a key role in sourcing funding for local initiatives and coordinating events such as the annual Pacifica Celebration Day. She is the coordinator for Pacifica Youth Jandal Jam, an event that raises self-awareness and increases resilience and motivation in Pacific youth. Ms. Horrid Tippa was instrumental in establishing tertiary scholarships from event proceeds. Ms. Sue Horrid Tippa, please come forward. Your Excellency, this investiture is concluded.
Our honours system is our nation's highest public affirmation of outstanding individual achievement. It reinforces values and behaviours that sustain our communities and help our nation thrive and prosper. And these include service, courage, manaakitanga, and the pursuit of knowledge and excellence. By using their talents to make ours a better society, whether by service to their communities, their leadership in diverse fields of endeavour, or their commitment to excellence in their own field of expertise, our recipients have set a fine example to others, encouraging them in their own endeavours. To the recipients, it's been a privilege to hear your stories today. You have demonstrated determination, commitment and compassion in your daily lives, and in your own way, each of you has helped make Aotearoa New Zealand a better place to live. In some cases, your influence and the positive impact of your work has extended beyond our shores. Your actions and the stories we've heard today reflect the spirit of the words of another great New Zealander, Te Puia Herangi, when she said, "Mahia te mahi, he painga mō te iwi." When you work for the well-being of the people. On behalf of all New Zealanders, I thank you for helping to make Aotearoa New Zealand a better place, whether by dedicating your lives to the public good, achieving distinction in your chosen field, or inspiring others with your leadership. Please wear your insignia with pride, knowing that your contributions are recognised and valued, and others are inspired by your example. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that almost brings to the close the formal part of today's ceremony. But before we break, I wonder if you might stand and join me in singing our national anthem. Thank you.